Today I began thinking about writing another novel, and it would be different from my other ones in that it was going to have something to do with political history, or history mainly centered in American politics, which is my main interest, which not only separates it from most of my other stuff, but also I think would require the biggest amount of research. Now, part of the reason I've never tried this before was I didn't believe, one, that I had enough material to make an actual novel, and two, I didn't think anyone would want to get it. And even though I'm not entirely convinced of what the topic would be, I was thinking of maybe doing something in relation to this last presidential election, uh, kind of just covering it, its impact, the main events, all that jazz. But I'm not really sure if I want to go over it because I've always been the type of person who could look at an era that they didn't live through and say, yeah, that was big, This time period that I didn't see, I know was huge because it's still talked about to this day, and its effects still live on. And even though I think this election cycle was historic, I don't know how truthful I can be in my analysis as to not just break away from neutrality. And I don't want to make this something where it's just me saying, that person was terrible, that person's horrible. I can't wait in 30 years for everyone to hate them. No, I want it to be something you can read and, I'll tell you what my opinion is maybe, but I still will back it up by fact, or I'll leave you with, your own interpretation. Um, it's really just something I'm trying to network with my mind as to how I want to go about doing it. At one point, I thought about writing something in relation to the Obama presidency, but seeing as how he's doing his own memoir and people are going to flock to that and say, oh, this is the main source, um, you know, that's also out of the window. I'm really more along the lines of writing something maybe in relation to a certain politician. Again, the problem with them is that none of them are accessible, and the ones that are, nobody wants to read about. I could probably get my assemblyman to sit down and talk with me, but would you really want to read about him or her? I'm just saying. I'm trying to be pragmatic about this because I don't like doing something just for no one to see it. Especially when, I mean, nobody makes things just for themselves. Oh, I'm just making this so I can watch it. And that was always what bothered me about, sitting there for hours upon hours of different days and then finishing a novel and, oh, nobody got it. I didn't enjoy that. I'm not trying to say I'm entitled to you purchasing my story or you reading my story. No, I'm saying when you put effort into something and other people can't make the effort to at least try to give it attention, it feels like a slap in the face. Like, and obviously, no one is necessarily intending to do that. Some people haven't heard of it, but then you go on these other websites and you try to promote it, and you get told you're spamming. You get told by 40 people, no thank you. You get told all these different rude things somebody with a keyboard can type, but nobody with an intellect can try and read this. Oh, so I'm trying to do this without coming off as entitled. I'm trying to do it without coming off as so overtly negative. But part of the reason for my disillusion with a couple of things is based around seeing it not change after years or weeks or months, and saying, well, if it didn't change before and I'm trying this different thing, it must never, is going to see any difference. It's almost like, oh, you're defeated. Well, not really, because I still went out there and did it over and over again. At what point do I just, move on from it? I'm not going to waste my time doing things that don't work.